What the Falcons do? Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, show where we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and in general the sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning, lifelong fantasy enthusiast. So today I just wanted to close out our discussion on wide receivers from a fantasy perspective. I've already gone through the AFC and NFC South, East, and North, and today we're going to close out with the two divisions I think are the most interesting this year, and we'll have the best teams overall with the NFC and AFC West. And we're going to talk about the receivers. Again, if I had just gone through and talked about all the receivers from all the divisions, we'd have been here for 30 or 40 minutes, and I just had no interest in making that long of a video. So I've broken it down by basically 8 divisions at a time. And today we're closing out and going through the some of these guys who are probably going to be high value targets. So right out the gate, I have 12 guys in kind of the top tier. These are guys that are being taken in the first 6-ish rounds overall. Then we have a next tier is going to be 13 through 22. These are guys that are going anywhere from about round 7 to round 12 or 13. And then we have 23 through 29. These are guys that are basically do not draft, late flyers. Guys that will probably end up being on the waiver wire for most leagues, but we'll see what happens. So, right out the gate. You've got teams like the Seahawks, Rams, 49ers, Cardinals, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers here. So out of the gate, pick number 103 overall, first on my receivers, and he's actually my first overall receiver as well. Cooper Kupp. I have loved having Cooper Kupp in my Dynasty League. I was able to get him in the 3rd round of a Dynasty League about 4 or 5 years ago whenever he came into the league. He was a sleeper that year, and he has just been a consistent producer on my team since that time. I absolutely love having him, and he had a career year last year. I think he's not going to do anything too much different, maybe not quite as good, but he's going to have another good year with Stafford throwing him the ball because they really haven't changed their offense around all that much. The only thing he's missing is a really, really solid number 2, which Allen Robinson very well could produce and could be, so that could take pressure off of him as well. The next guy I actually made a mistake here because I forgot that Devonte Adams was with the Raiders now. So I had gone through like my first 9 picks, and then I looked back and I was looking at my list of players that I hadn't used, and I was like, oh, crap, Devonte Adams. I forgot to put him on here. So I had to go back and redo this whole thing. Devonte Adams, he's going round 1, pick 11 overall. I still love him there. I think he's being a little undervalued. Has a great connection with Derek Carr from his college days. And I still think he's going to be that high-value guy and just do really, really fracking well in Las Vegas this year. Love him in the 1st round. Really love him if you get him in the 2nd round. The next guy I have here, Deebo Samuel, San Francisco. He won a lot of people in their leagues last year. He played a running back, he played receiver, and he just was absolutely a beast last year down the stretch. Now, that was with Jimmy Garoppolo throwing him the ball. They're going to be running with Trey Lance this year, so I don't know if he's going to have quite as high an upside. He's going a little higher than what I would like to see him, given that he's only done it 1 year. He's been in the league a few at this point, and that was the only good year he's had so far. So he's going around to pick 5 overall. I would rather see him going in the early mid-3rd. So I think it's a little bit of a stretch to take him there, but the upside is not deniable. The next guy you have here, I'm going to go Keenan Allen. He is just Mr. Consistency for over 6 or 7 years now. I love Keenan Allen. I think he's going to get over 100 targets and probably over 100 receptions this year with Justin Herbert throwing him the ball. I don't think he can go wrong there. He's going round 303 overall. The next guy, Marquis Brown. This is a little bit surprising to a lot of people. I think a lot of people don't think he's really that good. Here's the thing. He has a connection already with Kyler Murray, who just got paid, and they were together in college and had a phenomenal season together. So very similar. You're seeing this trend across the board of college receivers going where their college quarterback, who made them what they are located in the NFL. And I think that's going to be the same story, especially with DeAndre Hopkins suspended for the first 6 games of the year. You can't draft DeAndre Hopkins in the first 5 rounds this year. You're going to have to take somebody who has that upside. Marquise Hollywood Brown has the upside. If you can get him in the 4th, I absolutely love him. I think he's a steal. If you're getting him where he's going, which again is 312 overall, I still think he's a fine pick there. You're not going to go wrong, and you're not going to be unhappy with it. The next guy I have, Cortland Sutton, another guy that is going in the 4th round, 403 overall. He has Russell Wilson throwing him the ball. So just basically any production that you took for DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett last year, transpose that onto Cortland Sutton and Jerry Judy this year. The talent is very similar for both of those players. I have them both very, very high. I think they're going to be both really, really good receivers this year. And Cortland Sutton, I just think, has a little edge. He's done it for longer, and he got hurt last year. He would have done it last year. Juju Smith-Schuster, I do have him next, even though he's being taken after guys like Jerry Judy. He's the top receiving option in Kansas City with the number 2 or 3 quarterback in the league. You can't deny the production possibility there. So Juju, absolutely love his upside. Has a low floor, though, because there are other guys that could supplant him as the number 1 receiver. But right now, he is the top talent in Kansas City. And I don't think you can deny that. He has the potential to be a poor man's Tyreek Hill from last year. So we'll see what happens with him. I think he's good, and I think he deserves being number 7 overall. Jerry Judy, he's going 407 overall right now. I love Jerry Judy if he can just stay out of trouble. I don't know if he's going to get a suspension or not. If he does, it'll be 1 or 2 games. But again, there really wasn't anything there. It doesn't appear from the NFL. He did do something that's a little bit disgusting in that he withheld formula from his own child. I don't know there's a lot of good excuse for that. I don't know that it's worth an arrest or a lot of NFL conduct issues for. Definitely a stupid decision, but not something akin to sexual misconduct or something like that. The next guy, he's going a little higher in drafts than a lot of the rest of them because of his upside. But I don't think Mike Williams has quite as good a year this year as he did last year. Still think he's a top 5 round guy, but he's going round 3, pick 5 overall. I just think that's too high for him. Still a guy that I have number 9 overall here. Then number 10 and 11. I can't not put these guys there. The talent is too good, but they just are going to have Drew Lock throwing to them, and I have no idea how this is going to be. So again, I talk about reversing where you would have taken Cortland Sutton and Jerry Judy last year with where you took DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett last year. I have both of those guys going number 10 and 11 with DK Metcalf on a little higher upside. He's going 411. Tyler Lockett's going 808. I like them better, or I like Tyler Lockett a lot better than where his draft position is. But I don't really like DK Metcalf at his current draft position. But they are the guys that I have as 10 and 11 out of this grouping from the West. And they're still top 5 round picks overall. Allen Robinson is the final guy here. He's going at 411 overall if he lives up to the potential that we know he has and that he showed in Chicago and in Jacksonville when he was there. He is going to be a steal of a pick there. Think Robert Woods, but better upside from last year and hopefully not hurt. That's the big thing. But he's a guy that should be taken probably in the 4th round, exactly where he's going. Now, 13 through 22. These are guys that have a lot of upside, but they have some baggage or they're just not quite as good as other guys that you could take ahead of them. Right out the gate, 13, Hunter Renfro had a great year after the unfortunate stuff with Las Vegas last year where they lost one of their wide receivers to issues off the field. I won't talk about him right now, but Hunter Renfro has a lot of upside. He's the 3rd target in that receiving core, so I don't know if he's as good as advertised, but he's going in the 7th round, so he's fine. Deandre Hopkins, he's going in the 7th round. Talent, 1st round talent. Absolutely. 1st, 2nd round talent all the way, but he's suspended for the first 6 games, and there's a bye week. So if you just take that into the equation here, there are 14 regular season games for fantasy. He's missing half of them. He is not going to be a guy that wins you the league because you're counting on him in the early part of the year. You need to be looking elsewhere. Take him later after somebody drops him because they regret taking him. He's not going to be on somebody's injured reserve spot. He's just going to literally be sitting on your roster doing nothing for 7 weeks. It's not worth it. Go with somebody else. If you can get him in the 9th or 10th round, maybe that's worth it. But at 6th or 7th round, absolutely not. Do not waste your draft pick on him there. It ain't worth it. Just don't do it. The next guy that I like is Mikol Hardman. He is going in the 11th round. I think he's a little bit better than that. I like his potential more than Skye Moore just because he knows the offense and has been an established target. But I love Skye Moore's upside more. So I would say he has the better floor. Skye Moore has the better ceiling. And with that, my next guy, number 16, is Skye Moore. He's going in the 8th round, so 3 full rounds above Mikol Hardman, which I think is too much. I think he should be going probably where he's at, but I think Mikol ought to be going in the 8th round as well. So the next guy I have is a little bit of a controversy, A.J. Green, going 16 rounds or later. Again, he is the 2nd receiving option in that offense for a team that's going to be without DeAndre Hopkins for 7 weeks out of the fantasy regular season next year. Kyler Murray just got paid. He's a top 5, top 6 wide quarterback in the league. He's going to throw to somebody. He might as well be A.J. Brown. So we'll see. I like his upside a lot better than where he's being drafted. Next guy, Brenda Yuke. He was going in round 7, pick 8 overall. He's a little bit of a risky pick. I would rather see him in the 8th or ninth round, but again, he didn't have a great year last year. Deebo Samuel kind of supplanted him, so I look for that to happen again. But he could take a step forward, having been on the field practicing with Trey Lance a lot last year. See what happens with him. I don't look for a lot of great things this year, but we'll see. Van Jefferson, home run pick. He is kind of an up-and-down player. You're going to have to strike lightning in a bottle with him. So LA Rams, third receiving option. Going round 12, pick 7 overall. And then you have Rondale Moore out of Arizona. He is going in the 10th round, pick 11 overall. I like him as the third receiving option for a while, but once DeAndre Hopkins comes back, his value drops to next to nothing. So you're taking a risk, taking him, hoping that he does well early, and you're going to want to play him early. If you wait till middle of the year or later to play him, you will have wasted your entire opportunity with him. The next guy, Tim Patrick, the third receiving option at Denver. Love him as a dark horse. I think a lot of guys like, who is it? Brandon Perna out of That's Good Sports. I think he loves him a lot too as a Denver fan. Going in round 11, pick 3, I think that's way too late for him. He has 8th or ninth round potential written all over him, especially with the with what the secondary is going to command as far as respect for Cortland Sutton and Jerry Judy. He's going to be open a lot, and I love him as a slot receiver and a guy who could just make a big difference as your wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. The last guy that I have in this tier is MVS, and just home run guy. I have no clue how he's going to do in Kansas City. He did get paid by Kansas City. We'll see. He didn't do it in Green Bay. We'll see what he does with a quarterback who hasn't won the MVP for the last 2 years. The last tier, again, these are all guys that I think you just take a flyer on. I don't feel great about any of them, and they're all guys that I think you could just wait on and see what happens with the free agent market. So you've got Joshua Palmer out of the Chargers. Okay year last year. I just don't love him this year. Danny Gray, rookie at San Francisco. They're going to be a run-first offense. Don't love him, but I don't hate him either. Freddie Swain. The only reason you're on this list is you are the third receiver for Seattle, and they got to throw to somebody, though you are behind Noah Fant, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. Jawan Jennings out of San Francisco. He's whatever. Josh Gordon. He is now in his 30s. He has not had anywhere near the success they did in 2013 with the Browns. He's on Kansas City. He's only worth drafting in best ball. Do not take him otherwise. And take him with your 18th pick overall in a best ball if you're going to take him. But not worth having for the most part. Probably won't even make the team. The last guy is Demarcus Robinson and Keelan Cole, both Las Vegas Raiders, both going round 16 or later. Again, none of these guys I particularly see have any fantasy value, but I mention them because, again, a lot of these teams are very, very good. These are teams that are all competing for a playoff spot, except Seattle, and you just have to consider them as possible dark horse options to emerge this year, especially if injury happens. So that's just what I think about the NFC and AFC West receivers. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Would love to hear about it. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing. It would really help the channel grow. And until next time, rise up.